Hi, Annie. How you doing, baby girl? I left yesterday, and I am now in Tanzania. Can you believe it? I'm so excited to be here, but I miss you to pieces. Um, so today's Sunday. That means tomorrow's Monday. Okay, and that means you have school tomorrow. You had a great spring break, and now it's time to get back into the swing of things. Okay. So make sure you brush your teeth. Make sure you go to bed early. Make sure you go to sleep early. And I'm going to read you some books, okay? I have some really cool books. But before I read them, I need to ask you a question. I need to make sure, I think we already made sure, but just to double check, make sure your suitcase is in the car, okay? Because tomorrow, Corey's going to pick you up, all right? And then you're going to have a sleepover at Corey's house. Corey and Mike and Benjamin. All right? And you be such a good listener, okay? And use your manners. Be polite, just like you always are, okay? You're a really good girl. Continue to be a good girl, okay? Now, today, I'm going to read you some really cool stories, okay? The first one is Fancy Nancy, Explorer Extraordinaire. Bonjour, everybody. Welcome to our club. Bree and I love to go exploring in the wild. We collect leaves, watch birds and butterflies, and inspect insects. If you're like us, then you can be an explorer extraordinaire too. Love, Nancy. Oh, don't forget, you can go and get these books right over there. Wherever my side of the bed is, you can go grab these books and you can read along with me if you want to. All right? All right, let's continue. If you need to pause it to get them, you can. All right? Okay. Bree and I are the founding members of our club. That means we started it. So far, we are the only members. Freddie and my sister really want to join. We say maybe. First, they have to prove that they are mature enough. Mature is a fancy way for acting grown up. What an explorer extraordinaire needs. Let's see, what do they need? A long sleeve shirt and pants so ticks can't get on you. A notebook and pen for writing field notes. A baseball cap or a sun hat. A camera. Binoculars. Lace gloves. Magnifying glass. Glamorous sunglasses. Rusty, or maybe it could be Reef. Little maracas for when we feel like dancing. And Frenchie, maybe that could be Reef's friend. Maybe like Maggie. Just because you're exploring doesn't mean you can't be fancy. I'm gonna be exploring. Maybe I should be fancy. I hope I packed some fancy clothes in my suitcase for Tanzania. I almost forgot the most important thing. Every club needs a clubhouse. It's absolutely essential. Here is a map of our territory. That's fancy for the places where we can go. Only go exploring in our backyards and Miss Devine's yard. The porch, Bree's room, Bree's house, my room, my house, the mail basket, elm tree, vegetable garden, Bree's rock garden, maple tree, the gate, the honey locust tree, a rope swing, oh, that'd be cool. Our clubhouse right here, oak tree, picnic table, stoop, wildflower garden, vegetable garden, a gringo tree, herb garden, the porch, Miss Devine's house. That's it. Rule number 2. Nobody in the club thinks bugs are gross. That's just immature, which is fancy for babyish. First, we look for insects. Insects is the real word for bug. All insects have wings, antennae, and 6 legs. We see an anthill, so we sprinkle some sugar. Voila! Here come the ants. Ants love sweet things, so do I. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. Rule number 3, no touching, just looking. Ants live underground in a group called a colony. Freddie wants to help the ants get back home. But that's against the club rules. What do you call a 100-year-old ant? An antique. Ah! That's a funny one. Oh, antique is a fancy word for something that is really old. The head ant is the queen, but she doesn't have a crown or anything fancy. She just lays all the eggs. We see lots of flies by the garbage cans. They zoom around so fast, Bree couldn't get a picture. Flies can walk on ceilings because of sticky pads and tiny claws on their feet. Oh, I didn't know that. Did you know that? You did? Who told you that? Did you just say that Hera told you that? You're so silly. Hera's very smart, you know. I observe, that's a fancy word for watch, a ladybug on a leaf of a tomato plant. The ladybug has 1 black spot on each wing. Once I saw a ladybug with black wings and red spots. Mom says it's good luck if a ladybug lands on you. But members of the club do not think that that is scientifically accurate. Ladybugs eat insects that are bad for plants. And here are some of the ladybugs that she has seen, right there. Cool, huh? My sister is pointing at something. It's a spider. In the web, there is a dead bug. My sister says, yuck. But we explain that this is just part of nature. Spiders eat some insects that are pests, like flies. You probably think spiders are insects, but guess what? They're not. They have 8 legs, not 6, and no wings and no antenna. Exploring in the wild makes us very thirsty and hungry, so we stop to have refreshments. That's a fancy word for snacks. We do some research now. That means we read about what we've seen. Bree's book says we saw an orb spider. Here is a photo Bree took of it. Ooh, yuck. That looks crazy, huh? Have you seen a spider like that? Rule number 4. Just like you, you're 4. Crying is not allowed, unless there's a very good reason. My sister and Freddie fight over the last cookie. We tell them if they want to go with us to Miss Devine's garden, they'd better stop. Miss Divine's flower garden is full of butterflies. Bree and I adore butterflies. Hey, you like butterflies too. And I took these pictures. Rule number 5. 5. You're going to be 5 in June. We never catch butterflies because they are fragile. Fragile is a fancy word of saying they get hurt easily. You like to use that word sometimes because you're really smart, huh? Just like Fancy Nancy. And you are really fancy too, just like Fancy Nancy. Many people don't think butterflies are insects because they are so pretty. But guess what? They are. They sure are insects. All butterflies start from an egg that turns into a caterpillar. The caterpillar spins a cocoon around itself. The scientific name is chrysalis, but you already knew that. I think that word is so beautiful and fancy. Chrysalis. Just say it. It does sound beautiful and fancy. And when chrysalis breaks open, voila, there's a butterfly. Lookalikes. It is a butterfly. Or is it a moth? So when butterflies land on something, their wings stay up. You see butterflies during the day, and they have colorful wings. That's how you can know something's a butterfly. Now, sometimes there are moths, and they kind of look like butterflies, but let's learn about the difference. So if you can tell if it's a moth if, when the moth lands, its wings stay flat. You see the moth much more at night. They like to fly near lights. And a lot of moths have plain brown wings, but some moths are kind of colorful. Butterfly hunting ensemble. I went to a butterfly farm once with my grandparents. If you go to one, here's what you should wear. Maybe we should go to one. There's one that's not too far. You should wear a hat sprayed with a little perfume to attract the butterflies. And bright colored clothes so the butterflies think you are a giant flower. Then they might come land on you. Part of Miss Divine's garden is wildflowers. Wildflowers grow all by themselves without any help from people. You don't have to buy seeds or anything. Lots of wildflowers have such fancy names, such as forget-me-nots, lady slipper, and foxglove. Oh no! Look what Freddie and my sister did. They picked some flowers without asking. You always have to ask first, right? That is strictly against club rules. Miss Divine is not mad, but we are. Neither of them can be in the club. They are not mature enough. Lunchtime. My mom takes my sister and Freddie home. We go to Bree's house, and after lunch, we will check with the bird feeder in the backyard. Maybe some birds are having their lunch. Bree may be an... Bree wants to study birds when she grows up. What makes birds so special? Birds are the only animals with feathers. The fancy word for feather is plume. They also have light, hollow bones. One of the reasons we can't fly is because our bones are too heavy, and we don't have wings. Today, we see a robin and lots of sparrows. Look, those are the birds that Fancy Nancy saw today. Why do hummingbirds hum? Do you know? Because they don't know the words. That's a good one. That's a pretty funny one. Let me read that one again. That was a good one. Why don't hummingbirds hum? Because they don't know the words. I just love that one. That's a funny one. You should use that one time. People will laugh at that one. It starts to drizzle, so we go back to our clubhouse. We pretend not to see Freddie and my sister. We read about hummingbirds and learn many facts that are fascinating. That's even fancier than interesting. Hummingbird, the official bird of our club. They love red flowers. So far, we've only seen hummingbirds at the zoo, but they are still our favorite birds. Why, you ask? They are so petite. That's a fancy word for little. And their wings are iridescent. That's a fancy word for shiny. How petite is a hummingbird? Without feathers, most are the size of a bumblebee. A bumblebee? That's really small. That's how big a hummingbird is without any feathers. That's pretty crazy. They can take a bath in a leaf. A bath in a leaf? Can you do that? Just a little leaf? A nest is the size of a walnut shell, and their eggs are smaller than jelly beans. They flap their wings up to 200 times a second. Amazing. And they don't hum. A humming sound comes from their wings beating so fast. Rule number 6. We don't pull leaves off trees. Trees need them to make food. The rain seems to be stopping, but we wear our raincoats anyway because we look so chic. That is French and fancy for fashionable. Goody, the storm last night has knocked off leaves for us to collect. I am practically a leaf expert. Trees whose leaves fall are called deciduous. I love that fancy word almost as much as chrysalis. If you see the pages on butterflies, but you already know that. All the leaves here come from trees in our backyard. Ginkgo leaves look like fans. Miss Devine makes tea from the fruit. Those are some of the leaves that they found. Cool, huh? Trees with leaves that don't fall off are called evergreens. Evergreen. Get it? Because their leaves don't fall off, so they are evergreen. Like forever, they will always be green. The leaves look like needles. Christmas trees are evergreen. Did you know we had an evergreen tree for Christmas at our house? And you picked it out. Do you remember doing that? You picked out the best tree ever. Christmas trees are evergreens. Don't you love their wonderful aroma? That's a fancy word for smell. Bree and I hear Freddie and my sister calling us. They found something. Something exciting. Wow! They have found a baby robin. Oh, it's fallen from its nest. Look at the baby robin. See, those are some baby robins. The one they found fell from its nest. Poor bird. We can see the nest. The mother robin must be frantic. That's fancy for very, very worried. We call my mom and she knows just what to do. She puts the baby back in the nest. Now it is safe. My mother explains that some animals won't care for their babies after a person has touched them. But birds are not like that. Hooray for Mom! My sister and Freddie jump up and down. Please, please, can't we join the club now? Even though they broke some club rules, they did find the baby robin, which is the most interesting thing we observed. So Bree and I took a vote. It's unanimous. We both vote yes. We make official cards for the new members, just like us. They are now Explorer Extraordinaire. The end. All right, how was that? That was a cute book, wasn't it? All right, I have another one, but it's really kind of long. So, I got my other book. Wow, it's great being a duck. Lily was the last born, the last to hatch, and the smallest and skinniest. All the other ducklings had already left the nest when, at last, Lily's egg began to crack, and Lily peeped out. She saw her mother's eye. Then she saw her mother's feathers. Then her mother's feet. Crash! Lily fell out of her egg into the big world. Lily's mother was very proud. She wanted everyone to admire tiny Lily. Come swim, quacked Lily's older brothers and sisters. Come along, Lily, coaxed Mother Duck. You must learn to swim, or furry leg, long tail, sharp snout, pink tongue, fox will gobble you up. But Lily did not want to take her feet off the ground. So, while her brothers and sisters were swimming and diving, Lily practiced walking. Plomp, plomp, one foot after the other, into the dark green forest she walked. Along the long and windy path she went until she met Mr. Furrylegs. What's a nice little duck like you doing in the dark green forest? Asked Mr. Furrylegs. I'm walking, replied Lily proudly. You are very small and skinny, remarked Mr. Furrylegs. I will show you where you can eat tender nasturtium leaves. You need fattening up. Lily ate so many leaves she could hardly waddle home. A week later, she met Mr. Furrylegs' long tail. My, do you walk well for a duck, said Mr. Furrylegs' long tail. Thank you, said Lily. I shall never take my feet off the ground. It's far too dangerous. I love walking too, said Mr. Furrylegs' Longtail. Let's stroll together in the forest. I'll show you some very tasty things for a growing duck like you to eat. Lily ate many wild berries. She ate until her beak turned purple. She ate until her feathers turned purple. How do you feel? Asked her new friend. Fat, replied Lily. Good, said Mr. Furry Long-Legged Tail. I like fat ducks. I wonder who Mr. Furry Legs Long Tail could be. Do you have any ideas? We'll have to keep reading and see. The following week, Lily returned to the berry patch, and there she met Mr. Furry Long Tail Sharp Snout. While she looked for many remaining berries, they talked. Do you have a large family? Asked her companion. Oh, yes, said Lily. I have lots of big brothers and sisters. Really? Then I must show you where to find snails. I believe they are very good for making ducks big, strong, and fat. The snails were so tasty. So absolutely scrumptious. Lily stayed until she had eaten every one. "Did you bring your brothers and sisters next time?" called Mr. Furry Legs Long Tail Sharp Snout. "Okay," said Lily, "but they can't walk as quickly as I can." And off she waddled, her tail dragging on the ground. The next week, Mr. Furry Legs Long Tail Sharp Snout Pink Tongue came walking along the forest path. There he found Lily sitting alone on the path, sobbing. "Why are you by yourself?" he asked. "My family has flown away to the bigger pond," she wailed. "Oh dear, I was hoping to have a party with all of you. Why don't you come along with me?" Lily stopped crying. "You are kind," she sniffed as she got up to follow her new friend into the dark green forest. "Hurry, hurry, you really must walk a little faster," said Mr. Furry Leg Long Tail Sharp Snout Pink Tongue, licking his lips. Why is he licking his lips? Is he excited to eat something? What do you think he's going to eat? We'll have to keep reading to find out. How rude, thought Lily, resting for a while. Come on, he snarled at her. Just who does he think he is? Quacked Lily, looking up. She glared at his furry legs. She studied his long tail. She observed his sharp snout. She goggled at his pink tongue, slipped across a row of needle-sharp teeth. Lily squeaked and Lily squawked, and then she saw Mr. Furry Legs, Long Tail, Sharp Snout, Pink Tongue, Fox! Quickly, Lily turned and ran. Flap, 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 flap. Faster and faster along the winding path through the dark green forest, back to the pond. Splash into the pond. Paddle, paddle, faster and faster. Lily could hear her panting breath of Mr. Fox. She could feel his prickly whiskers on her tail. Paddle, paddle, went her feet. Flap, flap, went her wings. Suddenly, Lily was flying. Up, up over the pond, up over the trees, right out of the reach of Mr. Fox. Up over the hills and on to the other side. Below, in a big pond, she saw her family. Down she glided and landed just like an expert. Look, quacked her brothers and sisters. Hey, Lily, quacked her brothers and sisters. We thought you could only walk. So I did, said Lily, but now I can do everything. And she could. Wow. It's great being a duck. Yeah, it's tough being a snail. The end. Oh, that was a cute book too. All right, my baby, I love you so much. And just so you can see something, I don't have any way to call you right now in Africa. So I'm doing this before I leave. And look, there you are sleeping. You are just so cute. All right, I love you. Sweet dreams, baby. Have so much fun at Corey's house tomorrow. Be really good. Mind your manners. Make sure you bring your suitcase. And make sure Anthony is packed for Washington, D.C., okay? Because he's leaving on Tuesday morning, so you won't see him. So say goodnight to him now, and then say see you later to him tomorrow morning before you leave, because then you won't see him until he gets back. Okay? All right, my baby. Mwah. Oh, and don't forget, make sure you bring your box violin tomorrow because you have violin lessons tomorrow in the morning. Okay? All right, my baby. I love you so much. I love you most. And I love you best. That's my favorite one. Good night.